Hi everybody, we're going to talk today about the rules for drawing a proportional face. Now, when we started this class, the first thing I had you do was try to draw a proportional face, and I'm going to show you the steps on how to do that today. Now, the first thing I'm going to have you do is lightly sketch a circle. That's your first basic shape. And then I'm going to have you sketch just a U shape underneath it. Now, our goal here is to, when we think about proportion, to put things in the right spot. And in order to do that well, we're going to give ourselves some guides. So we're going to start by dividing this, the start of the face in half twice. Now, when we do that, what we're going to do is really make a map, and will tell us where each part is going to go. So for the next step, we're going to add in the eye sockets, and those are helpful because it lets me know where exactly they are, and they're above the halfway part. So like, look, here's this halfway line, they're above it. And this is really important because when we're little kids, when we make faces, we think, for whatever reason, the eyes are high here on the face is down here, and the hair just sits on top. Well, it's actually not the case. They're a little lower, and there's a lot more skull up here. Then we're going to go ahead and add in a small triangle shape here. Now this is going to be for the nose. And then about halfway underneath the line, so this is about a quarter way through, I'm going to make a straight line, I'm going to have the mouth. Now for the mouth, we're only going to have it go a little bit under the middle of each eye, and it's going to go kind of up and over and then down. And this mouth shape is pretty common. Now, obviously, some people's mouths are more narrow and more wide, but everybody's kind of got these three main groups, this kind of up and over and down shape. And for right now, that's a perfect thing to consider. Now let's go back to the eyes. So obviously, those are going to be the eye sockets, and then in the eye sockets are the eyeballs. Now the eyeballs are super sensitive, and they're super important for us to see the world. So we have the bone all around it, and then we have the lids right on top. And the lids help keep our eye protected, and they help us so that we can see, so we can keep our vision intact, and by doing so, keeps us engaged with the world. Now, one of the ways that it helps is that on the inside we have a small little dot, and that's our tear duct, and that keeps the liquid moving in our eyes all the time. And as a result, our eyes stay healthy and well. Additionally, those original circles, we don't see them, but what we do see is we see the eyeball push against the eyelid. And so those circles are kind of a guide for us, but we don't really see them. We see how they push out. I'm not going to worry too much about the finer points of the lid, but I will say with the lashes curl out and away and out and away. And they get smaller as you get further towards the inside of the nose. Now, the lower lashes aren't as exaggerated, and they curl out and away. But everybody has lashes. Males, females, everybody. Now, when we do the nose, we've got this shape, and really this represents the opening inside of the skull. So your nose is basically a big open space, and both air and molecules fly in. The air can go to your lungs, and the molecules go into your brain to let you know what smells you smell. But what we can do here is we can add kind of a round or circular shape, and these parts we can open up a little bit and put a little triangle shape down here, and those are going to be the nostrils. Now, a lot of times when people draw noses, they draw them this way, but what we want to do is we want to try to show the cartilage part, which is the first circle that we made, and the part that protects. Now, most of this is open, but the rest of the cartilage comes up and then through, kind of where the sinuses are. So if you ever have a headache because you're stuffy, it's all related. And they kind of go above to your eyelids. Now you can, or I'm sorry, your eyebrows. Now you can feel your eyebrows actually come away out in front of your eyes. So those are another way that our eye is protected, because this gives us a little bit of a shield on top of our eyes, protect the sun and other things. Now underneath our nose and above our lips, we have a little bit of a dip here, and that's because there's a lot of muscles inside of our mouth that help us speak words and sing songs and chew food. Now the upper lip largely follows the mouth shape, and obviously lips, just like mouth lengths, and noses and eyes are all different sizes and different shapes, but these averages are helpful because once you have things in the right place, in the right relationships between the eyes and the nose and the mouth and the chin, then you can start to tweak it to make it look more like you intend, to show different genders, to show different backgrounds. All of those things can be part of your practice. Now, we've got most of the major parts in their spot, so what we have to do now is kind of, just clean up the rest. So I'm going to need some cheeks, and where that original circle was can kind of help guide where my cheekbones are going to go. And then below the cheekbones is going to be the jawbone. Now, you can feel inside of your own jaw, underneath your cheek, that it sinks in very far. Your teeth actually happen somewhere in here. But we can cut this through, and we can decide how big or wide of a chin we want. I'm going to go ahead and make this one a little bit longer. I'm going to stretch it over this way and bring it around back up to the front. And I'll add some ears. Now the ears can go from about where the eyes are to about where the nose is, excuse me. And just like everything else we've talked about, it's all pretty subjective, right? Like, so some ears are wider, some are attached, some are detached, and you're just going to have to decide how that's going to go. Now, when we get to the head, heads are not perfectly round. A lot of times heads have dips and bumps in them, and what's really super common, little babies, their heads have big plates, and the plates move as the brain grows, and you actually want that because as your brain grows, it would get pushed on your skull. So skulls are a little bit bumpy as a result of having all these little plates and parts inside of them that move around and grow with you as you grow. Now back to our friend over here. That hairline does not start all the way up here. Now, although people have higher or lower hairlines, or bigger or smaller foreheads, that forehead shape is still going to be about a little bit less than a third is where the hairline is going to start. So you can see I've made a line here. So I have about a third of this space, 1, 2, 3, and a little bit above this third I've started the hairline. And hairlines take all sorts of kinds of forms. Sometimes you could have the widow's peak. Sometimes it could be more flat, like this one's more of a lining. But what you've got is a situation then where you draw the hair, and the hair has to go a little bit beyond the head. So I'm going to give this one a little kind of an organic line shape, and just for now I'll fill it in. Give it a separation from the rest of the face, and I'll go ahead and add a little bit of kind of the cartilaginous dips in the ear, and my eyebrows are going to go straight to that little bone bump that I already added in before. I'm going to make these a little bit thicker, and those lines are going to go straight up and down, and the left and the right. Now I'm at a point where I've got the basic face, I've got some of these features, and if you wanted to start to change it as you practice it, what we're interested in is you might want to adjust the jaw or the shape of the eyes or the shape of the nose, things like that. As you start to detail out things like the mouth, you remember there's a little bit of cheek, right? Like, so you've got some cheek and a little bit of extra skin around here, so that helps you open your mouth, close your mouth. So you sometimes see a little bit of that here, or a dip here because of that cheek on each side. Now, These steps began with the circle, followed by the U. We divided it in half 2 times. We drew the circles for where the eyes were, a triangle for where the nose was. We followed the eyes down, did the mouth, added the pupils and irises, added the lids. We showed where the eyeball pushes against the lid. We rounded out the nose, turned that opening into just the exposed parts, or the nostrils. We added the upper and lower lips. We used the original circle to highlight where the chin goes. And then we lowered the jaw a little bit so it kind of hugged the chin shape that we selected. We moved the hairline to about 1/3 of the way down, and we are on our way. Now, I don't think I want you worrying about the necks too much here. And I definitely don't want you, worrying about how perfect the face is going to be. But for the time being, my number one goal for you is that you practice those steps one at a time, and that you do it diligently, both today, tomorrow, and a little bit more on Thursday before we go into our next creativity strategy, which is changes in scale. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do. I hope that you reach out with your questions, and you will have another learning support day on Thursday. So if you want to jump in and we can work together to see anything that you might need, I'm happy to help.